Hi folks, this is Stephen in Exile, coming to you to talk about one of my favorite subjects, and that of course is global warming. Now for 10 years I have been talking about this fraud that's been perpetuated by Al Gore. Now, through his venture capital firm that he's a big investor, he's made millions and millions of dollars off of this fraud. But here we are, still talking about it. Now, today I have three stories to talk about. The first was almost a little encouraging, just to know that there is a policy institute. This one is called the Global Warming Policy Foundation. It's out of Norway. To know that they have a grasp on what happens with climate. It's a funny thing, folks. For millions of years, our climate has cycled. Now, in the grand liberal tradition, we have to take a natural phenomenon, retard it enough to create a problem, and then make money off of it. That's what liberals do. But this first part of the conversation here is this Global Warming Policy Foundation talks about how 2016 El Nino was a little bit warmer, but that's a natural phenomenon. But let's move on now to Al Gore. He's out in Europe somewhere vomiting all over himself and anyone who will listen his theory about Brexit. And of course, how did Brexit and global warming tie together? Well, Al Gore is happy to tell us. Because of global warming, we got the civil war in Syria, folks. No, it wasn't Obama and Hillary's Arab Spring. That had absolutely nothing to do with the civil war and the refugees. And of course, then all the refugees, they migrate to Europe. That had nothing to do with Angela Merkel saying, "Come on in, Arab world, invade Europe. No Trojan horse required." That had nothing, no, it was global warming. And because of the refugees, the UK voters decided it was time for Brexit. Oh, that global warming's a powerful force, folks. As funny as that may seem to you, and it does sound funny to me, then, through the Drudge Report, I come across a website. It's a science and technology website called The Verge. This is... Let me click on it if I can without just laughing off the chair here. This brings us to a Harvard scientist who has come up with the brilliant idea. It's called geoengineering, folks. He has come up with the brilliant idea to send up high altitude balloons, or as they call it, hover gondolas. Doesn't that sound nice? They send up these high balloons high into the atmosphere to spray ice particles to study what effect they have in the atmosphere, or to try to decrease global temperatures. Now, folks, you know that this is our tax dollars paying for this research. If it's a Harvard professor, you know it's done with your tax dollars. As funny as that is, think back 50 years ago to the Beverly Hillbillies. Remember the two con men go to Jed Clampett and tell him that Jed Clampett, for a small fee, can single-handedly solve Los Angeles' smog problem? We're going to put these big giant fans in the Hollywood Hills and we're going to blow the smog out of LA. Folks, it just doesn't get any better than this. Folks, even Jed Clampett was smart enough not to buy into a scheme of stupidity. Folks, this is Stephen in Exile. This one was a fun one. I hope you enjoyed it. Throw me a like. You can follow me on the Twitter, Stephen Saul in Exile, and find more of these great little missives. Throw me a like if you like the video. Appreciate you watching.